Welcome back to Pietros Maneos Finance. And in today's video, I actually want to talk about Italy, not finance, but Italy. So basically, last evening, I was getting into bed after reading actually about 100 pages yesterday of this book, The Most Important Thing by Howard Marks. I actually did a short video on that yesterday, and I'll follow up on the next few days. And I turned on Create, and Dream of Italy came on. One of my favorite shows. It's on PBS and Create. Kathy McCabe is the host. And yeah, I would say it's probably my favorite show on television. For those of you who don't know, my novella, The Italian Pleasures of Gabriele Patercalos, was published, I want to say 2012 or so. And I spent time living in Italy and Rome, specifically, and then went into Tuscany, Umbria. Also spent a little time in Naples. So yeah, Italy is a passion of mine. And so let me just play this here. This is like the little 30-second.
I'm Kathy McCabe. In our new Dream of Italy special, I help you travel, transform, and thrive. Learn from celebrities and expats how to live happier and healthier the Italian way.
Well, I'm living in this dream of Italy. You know, if you pan the camera around, you see a vista that is dreamlike.
So there it is. So that's the little 30-second clip showcasing the show. I actually only caught the last half of it or so. And what's cool is she focuses on this one on some expats. So Frances Mays, world renowned for Under the Tuscan Sun, Sting, famous rock star, Francis Ford Coppola, director of The Godfather, and then a couple others that maybe aren't as well known. David Bach, I believe his name is somewhat well known. Also, it's interesting. He's in the personal finance space. His book Latte Factor, and I'll get to that at the end here. And then I think just two retirees and just how they prefer the Italian way of life. And so what I want to actually talk about in this video is, for me, how the Italian spirit, the dream of Italy, the Italian way of life has influenced my life here in America. So I'm not like a Mays or Coppola or George Clooney or Sting or someone like that who's actually living in Italy, but having spent extended time there, being an Italiophile, how that influences my life. And so the first thing I would say, the thing that transformed my life, is committing to living a life of the mind, committing to living an intellectual life, no matter my circumstances, be they good or bad. And that's very much the spirit of the Italian Renaissance, Italian humanism. You see figures like Marsilio Ficino, you see Dante Alighieri, you see Petrarch, you see others, these poet humanists, really looking back to classicism. So you see the resurgence in the Italian Renaissance of Greek sculpture, Greek thought, so on and so forth. Aristotle, Plato, the Neoplatonists. So let me just pull up just quickly here. Marsilio Ficino here. And just bring this down just a little bit. There we go. Marsilio Ficino was an Italian scholar and Catholic priest who was one of the most influential humanist philosophers of the early Italian Renaissance. He was an astrologer, a reviver of Neoplatonism, in touch with the major academics of his day, and the first translator of Plato's complete extant works into Latin. So there you go. So you see that classicism, the revival of the ancient world of the Greeks and the Romans in the Italian Renaissance. So not only being, for me, being intellectual, being a consumer of books, so to speak, but specifically looking to those periods, both the Italian Renaissance and the ancient world, reading in classical antiquity is something that I've tried to keep up with as best as I can. And so that's definitely one part of something that I brought back. And then the other thing I would say, kind of dovetailing with that, not only just being an intellectual for its own sake, a humanist, reading in the Italian Renaissance, studying the ancient Greeks and Romans, but also immersing myself in Italophilic literature. So, just some names briefly. You had Frances Mays, who they profiled there in the show. There's Diane Hales. I've read all of her books. Dario Castano, read all of his books. You have Tim Parks. You have John Variano, Barbara Grizzuti Harrison. So you can see, and there's some I'm going to forget, obviously, but there's a whole genre of Italophilic literature, meaning expats who have renounced their culture, be it England, America, Australia, wherever, and they've settled in Italy, and why they've settled in Italy and their experience there. So just that travel writing centered on Italy. So let's just go to Amazon. I'll just show you a couple. So I typed in Diane Hales here, and you're going to see a result come up for Frances Mays, Always Italy. You're going to see La Bella Lingua, which is her book, La Passione, How Italy Seduced the World. So let's just go to another name I mentioned. And let's go Dario Castano. Okay, so you see here somewhere in Chianti, Too Much Tuscan Sun, Too Much Tuscan Wine, Day in Tuscany, in Osteria and Chianti. So I've read all of these. Looks like he has a new book that I haven't read, so I'm mistaken here. I think this came out in 2020, The Waldenson Trunk. So maybe I'll look into picking that up. And let's just go with another really well-known, celebrated Italophile, Tim Parks. I recently read his book on the Medici. Yeah, Medici money. So we're going to scroll down here. I don't think I've read The Hero's Way. Italian Neighbors I've read. Medici Money, Italian Ways and Italian Education, Italian Life, A Literary Tour of Italy. I've read all those. So I've read pretty much all of Tim Parks' book. Just one more. Bear with me if you're not a bibliophile. You're probably finding this tedious. If you are a bibliophile, then maybe you're writing all this down furiously, wanting to order all of these books. John Variano. Computer's a little bit slow today. And like Tim Parks' book, the Walking Tours, there's this one that I really like is A Literary Companion to Rome, including 10 walking tours. You have Italian Baroque and Rococo architecture, Caravaggio, The Art of Realism, Tastes and Temptations, Food and Art in Renaissance History, Wine, A Cultural History. Oh, I don't know if I've read that one. That's one maybe I'll have to order today. Wine, A Cultural History. Wow, that sounds wonderful. So that actually is a great lead-in, Wine, A Cultural History, into the second thing that I've taken away from all of these books that I've read, from the dream of Italy, the spirit of Italy, the sensibility of Italy. And that is the connection to the earth, the connection to gardening, farming. I'm going to go to the screen over here now. just to give you a little background, in 2012, I purchased 40 acres in North Carolina. And I would say North Carolina is something of my Tuscany, right? It's in the New World, in America, but the landscape just very picturesque, very southern Italy. So I picked up 40 acres, black truffle orchard. So you notice truffles are associated with that part of Italy, Tuscany specifically. They're white there. I had black truffles. I planted a hillside vineyard with Sangiovese, which is the primary grape variety in Chianti, grown throughout Tuscany. So you can see the name of the property was Brahma Bella, Bramare to yearn for, Bella beauty, to yearn for beauty. So you can see that influence of my Italian Grand Tour, my time in Italy, my devouring of books in this genre. And then when I built the kitchen garden in front of the home there, I planted Castelluto Genoveses and Jimmy Nardello peppers. So both are Italian varieties. The Castelluto Genoveses are like a fluted pumpkin tomato. And then the Jimmy Nardello peppers are a wonderful sweet pepper descended from Riuti in Basilicata. And actually, this painting, right, I'm going to get it perfect here, right there is of Jimmy Nardello peppers. Found that on Etsy. And actually, I interacted. I forgot another writer that I've actually recently interacted with on Italy. Her name is Karen Hade. I know the computer's slow, but I do want to go back and just give her a little attention here. And I've read both of her books recently. So let's go here. Karen Hade. I'm pronouncing her last name right, but she's written two wonderful books on Calabria and Basilicata. So you can see she's 142 reviews on Calabria, the other Italy. And then just last year, she published a follow-up to that, Basilicata. So that's actually really cool that she did that, because a lot of attention is focused on Rome, Tuscany, Florence, Venice, the Italian Renaissance. And so the South is much more ignored in travel writing. There are examples, Norman Douglas, Old Calabria, so there are some, but it's just that emphasis isn't as much on places like Puglia, Calabria, Basilicata. They're also poorer. They don't have maybe the cultural cachet of those other places. But it was kind of cool that she took the time to write these books on Calabria and Basilicata. And anyway, so in our interaction, I was showing her pictures that I grow a sweet Italian pepper, descended from Basilicata, and she wasn't familiar with that variety. And then it's the Jimmy Nardello is becoming quite popular in America. Actually, I'm going to pull up just to give you guys a sense of what it looks like here. This is my YouTube video that I did from last year's season. And let's see here. So just, yeah, there it is. I mean, beautiful. Look at the color. And that might have been 10 pounds. I don't know. Yeah, 10, 20 pounds, something like that. Look at the color. It's almost like you could paint that as a still life.
So you can probably hear that I'm out of breath.
But yeah, so that's just
me doing this. So
see that beautiful Jimmy Nardello peppers, and then the Castelluto Genovese peppers are here, and you can see the fluted variety here. I grew these. I grew these actually at Brahma Bella as well. So I'm growing these here in South Florida, and then I did grow those in Brahma Bella in North Carolina. So, and I'll just give you another. We'll go to Google Images here, over here, and just kind of scroll through so you can see not only that one picture, but a bunch of pictures here. So there you go. Just look how, I grew it for as much of its beauty as anything else. And there it is. Yeah, just a gorgeous Italian tomato. And I think in Kathy McCabe's Dream of Italy, the retiree said, "I never knew what a real tomato tasted like until I came to Italy." And it's so true, because a lot of the tomatoes you see in grocery stores are hybrids. I'm not against hybrids on their own sake, but it just they're basically hybrids so they can survive being shipped across the country. They're picked green and then they ripen in the truck as they're driven from, let's say, California to wherever you live. And so you're just not, it's not that homegrown tomato. And one of the things they talk about in the show is just how fresh everything in Italy is, and all the little villages and small towns. And, everyone's growing, everyone has their own basil, tomato, peppers, and they maybe peddle it in the little town square in the farmer's market. So the quality of the food, it's that, you have also the slow food movement versus what is America known for, fast food, right? So the slow food movement, I think, has its origin in Italy, and it's very much promoted there if it doesn't have its exact origin there. So yeah, and so I just wanted to go through then, so it's basically, for me, just to kind of recap that, it's the devotion to the intellectual life, the devotion to books and learning, and then specifically in the Italophilic genre. And then the second thing is that connection to the earth, the connection to the land, the connection to agriculture. And that can go back to poets like Horace and Virgil, the great bucolic pastoral poets of the Romans. And, this is one of the things, and this is a finance channel. I've basically gone from worshiping the Pierian Nine, the Greek muses, to the golden calf. I spend much of my time now like a Medici or a Borgia, to be honest, instead of a Dante Alighieri or a Petrarch or a Ficino, focused on money making. And but what gives me immense pride is that from my novella, which I actually didn't even pull up on Amazon, I probably should have to give a self-promotion, but I didn't do that. Some of my quotations have now gone viral. I would even say are part of the Italian Canon or the Italophilic Canon. These are just one site amongst many. You could just type in my name, Pietros Maneos, Italy, and you'll see them everywhere. And so, on that show, they featured Frances Mays. And so you see her quotation just above mine here on best quotes about Italy. So, I say this to a friend, even if I make $100 million, which I will do, I think, it won't give me the satisfaction of seeing this quotation alongside Verdi, Browning, Mays, Twain, Goethe, Cervantes, so being part of the intellectual, the literary canon here. So let me just bring this down here, and I want to go through some of these quotations. This is a longer video today, so if you have a short attention span, you've probably already tuned out, but just something I wanted to do on a Sunday. So, and I love this Verdi one. You may have the universe if I may have Italy. Beautiful. Browning, open my heart and you will see graved inside of it, Italy. Bertrand Russell, Italy in the spring and first love all together should suffice to make the gloomiest person happy. Fanny Burney, traveling is the ruin of all happiness. There's no looking at a building after seeing Italy. And then Frances Mays, who was featured in the show Dream of Italy. I find other countries have this or this, but Italy is the only one that has it all for me. The culture, the cuisine, the people, the landscape, the history, just everything to me comes together there. And then this quotation, like I said, this one more than any of the others has gone viral. I mean, you'll see it all over Instagram. You'll see it travel agencies, restaurants, tour guides, people in Tuscany at a vineyard posting a picture of themselves with wine. It makes me very happy. But in America, one must be something. But in Italy, one can simply be. And so I'll just talk about that a little bit, that particular quotation. Yeah, it's just, look at me now. I mean, I'm in America. I'm not in Cortona. I'm not in Florence. I'm not in Milan. I'm not in Rome. And how am I occupying my time? I'm focused on business, stock market investing, real estate investing, getting ahead. One might even say the rat race, right? And the golden calf is another way to put it. Or you can look at the Wall Street bull, however you want to look at that. And so that American spirit is why, America and China, for example, are 1 and 2 in world economy. Sam Zell famously said, like, I'll never invest in Western Europe, places like, I think, France, and, he probably meant Italy as well, because it's not about getting ahead in Italy. It's not about GDP. It's about your little tomato patch, your pepper patch. You go into the village, you have an espresso, you sit with your friends in the town. It's a simple life, a beautiful life, a bella vita. It's not, what are my sales figures? How many sales do I have to put in today? What's my net worth? How do I see this person has a higher net worth. How do I get ahead of them? That's very America. That's very, the spirit of America. And Italy's the contrast that. So you can see that war within my soul, and just seeing in myself, my own self, in America, one must be something. It's almost obligatory. Like, if you don't become something great, or strive for wealth, or strive for status in America, like, you're a nobody, you're a loser. It's not okay just to put your head in maybe Dante Alighieri's book or travel writing. It's that go, hustle. But in Italy, one can simply be. So that just kind of breaks that down. And that's really resonated with people, as you can see here. And you have Goethe, we're all pilgrims who seek Italy. And then Verdi here, you may have the universe if I may have Italy. Mark Twain, the American novelist, the creator made Italy from designs by Michelangelo. Emerson, you could just go down. It's a who's who. Samuel Johnson. You have another by Mays. Eat, Pray, Love. Just going to go through. There's another one here. Yeah, and here's a second one of mine. For those of you who know, I'm Greek and Italian, and so this is a tip of my cap to Odysseus Elatus, Greek poet, who did a line, if you deconstruct Greece. And so this is my take on that with Italy, which has also resonated with people. If you deconstruct Italy, you will in the end see a grapevine, a tomato, and a small boy hammering a shard of marble. So to the beginning part of this video, you see, what did I say? The connection to gardening, farming, agriculture, the earth. And I find that, and there's a little difference I find between those who are interested in America and those who are interested in Italy. For the Italians who are interested in gardening, farming, agriculture, it's associated with aesthetics, with toccalone, with beauty. I find that Americans who are interested in these things, it's associated more with like radical environmentalism and getting back at oil companies or something. But there may be a little of that with the Italians, but it's more about the aesthetics, the beauty of taking a seed, putting it in the ground, growing it, picking your own dinner. So it's more that bella vita than that sort of radical political activism of those sort of like a Birkenstock, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon kind of granola type. It's a different sensibility. So you will see in the end, see a grapevine, a tomato, and a small boy hammering a shard of marble. Obviously, I'm growing Castelluto Genoveses. I've grown San Marzano tomatoes as well. The grapevines, I was growing Sangiovese, but just again, that connection to viticulture and agriculture, those two. And the last one is interesting. The reason I put that in there is a small boy hammering a shard of marble. And that's for the Italian urge to create, to make everything beautiful. And it's one of the things I think the people in the film, Kathy McCabe's show, all of them would agree. Even in these little villages, these little out of the way villages, not just Florence and Rome, the Italians everywhere, even if they're poor in these little villages, they try to create beautiful things, the frescoes, the architecture. Everything is the pursuit of beauty, the pursuit of aesthetics. And so just a small boy maybe sitting on the side of the road hammering marble, as even a boy is starting to create, and that creative urge you see in the Renaissance. And whether it's it's a Giorgio Armani or Gianni Versace in automobiles, a beautiful car. Ferrari or Lamborghini with the cars, Versace and Armani with clothing, the Italian sense of fashion. Whether it's a sculpture, whether it's a building, whether it's even a vineyard. I mean, you look, Sting in that video talks about just, scroll to an aerial of this property, and it's dreamlike. It's like all of it, even if it's agricultural, is garden like, is pursuing beauty, even if there's a practical element of, okay, well, we have to sell the wine, we have to sell the vegetables, we have to have a sort of pragmatic, practical sensibility. So that's the second quotation, and on Rome. And then I love this Cervantes, Don Quixote de la Mancha, to Rome for everything. And then De Niro, American film actor, Italy has changed, but Rome is Rome. Puny Leone, when in Italy, you roam. And here's my other one here that they've included. And like I said, you have no idea how happy this makes me. I was young writing, I was struggling to publish, struggling financially. And, to see this now, it makes me think of John Keats, in that Keats died unknown, unloved, obscure. And, if you were to resurrect John Keats and pull him from the grave and take him to the Keats Shelley house in Rome and let him know that his work was shared and loved by many, he would probably be in total shock, because I think he sold 7 books maybe. So just to see this, like I said, and now I'm engaged in the spirit of the Medici or the Borgia or the papacy, of money making, of wealth and power and glory. Not the Purian 9, but it just, makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But anyway, the quotation is this: Rome seems a comfort to those with the ambitious soul of an artist or a conqueror. That sense of grandeur, that sense of Renaissance egotism. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of priests, like Savonarola is one, for example, and a lot of people, even like Calvinists, Protestants, who didn't like and don't like the Renaissance because of its egotism, its focus on aesthetics and focus on this world. There's a Greek quotation which I love: "Anthropos metron." Man is the measure of things, of all things. Man is the measure of all things. And I think that is, if I had to choose one phrase to sum up the Renaissance, that would be it. And so I just find that psychologically, artists and conquerors, Gaius Julius Caesar, Pompey, Marcus Antonius, Genghis Khan, have a huge ego and ambition. And artists, Raphael, Michelangelo, Bramante, Bernini, they want their name to resonate across centuries oftentimes. Even Aristotle Onassis, who wasn't an artist, he was a moneymaker. And he said, if I were an artist, I wouldn't paint these small little watercolors. I would paint these massive canvases in oil. So think of St. Peter's in just the grandeur of that. A lot of artists might have delusions of grandeur, and then those delusions of grandeur become reality. So that's just, I think, the last one there. And then you could just go through, and there's a lot of different sites like this, that have different quotations on Italy. I wanted to actually do one final statement. It's not necessarily what is about the show. Actually, one of the gentlemen that they profiled is David Bach. And he looked familiar to me, but I didn't really know him when I was watching it. I didn't really know. Like, I knew obviously Coppola and Maze and Sting. He looked familiar, but I was like, where do I know this guy from? Apparently he wrote a book called The Latte Factor, and it's just a sort of financial education book. And, it's very much in the spirit of kind of like a Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, like, pay yourself first. If you don't have that latte and you invest it with compound interest and X amount of years, it'll be worth this. Just kind of basic, financial education, personal finance stuff. The other thing that he talks about, and I guess he did studies, that buy a home and then pay it off But like, if you look at the studies between those who are homeowners and those who aren't homeowners, those who are homeowners generally acquire more wealth than those who are renters. What's interesting and how this relates to me is I was researching when I came across this Grant Cardone article. And Grant Cardone is the guy who basically taught me the real estate game. I'm working on a deal now, and I'm going to do a video about it if I can close it. And I owe it all to Grant Cardone, basically. In fact, the title of that video is going to be, if the deal happens, how one Grant Cardone video made me $500,000. I got to close the deal. I'm working on it. But so Cardone, Kiyosaki, people like Trump, Onassis, love debt. They don't think small. They think, how do I grow a company to 100 million a year in revenue? How do I get a piece of real estate, increase its value, refinance it, use that refinance money to buy another positive cash flowing asset? How do I become on the Forbes 400? So there's that, again, that I talked about it with the quotation. Rome seems a comfort to those with the ambitious spirit of an artist or a conqueror. People like Cardone and Trump and Onassis have that sense of grandeur and that ambition. Bach is like, don't have your coffee at $2 and you'll put it in your investment account and it'll compound. But I think Cardone here attacks him for arguing for home ownership. And it's just an interesting aside because both, like, Italy is a big part of my life. So I'm watching this show last night. And then Cardone is the guy who taught me the real estate game. And he's basically in 2017 writing this essay attacking Bach. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Yeah, the latte factor, the idea that small amounts of money you spend can add up to a fortune. Believes that homeownership is a timeless principle of building wealth. He says it's boring, but it works. He's right on one of those. It is boring, but no, it doesn't work. And so, so this is just Cardone going on his spiel about not buying a home. Kiyosaki is another one. I think Peter Schiff is also someone like that. But so that's just an interesting sort of random aside on the show last night. But yeah, I would encourage all of you guys to watch it. Excellent show. I know this is a long video. I know this is a little bit off topic on some of the other stuff I've been doing. This is sort of, I'm 41. This is having to do with the person I was at 24, 28, 32, 36, when I was purely a scholar, purely an intellectual, purely a writer. I wasn't competing in the realm of Onassis, Trump, Cardone. But there it is. So hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm actually going to finish this Howard Marks book here. And then I'll probably do a video on that in the next few days. There's been a lot more traffic to the site. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Long live Italy, right? Ciao.